Well, bus sector wage negotiations very much in the headlines this past week. Many are suggesting the timing is always interesting just ahead of a busy Easter weekend. Well, trade union Numsa is looking at a proposal from a mediator in the bus sector. These negotiations have deadlocked. So where are we on this, and could we get any closer to a deal possibly by the end of the weekend? Well, Numsa spokesperson Phakamile Hlubi-Majola making time for me this afternoon. Hello to you, Phakamile. So where are we on this? Deadlock, or are we making progress?
Good afternoon, Gareth, and good afternoon to your listeners, to your viewers, sorry. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Where we are at the moment is that we indeed have received a proposal from the mediator of the South African Bus Passenger Council, which is the official negotiating forum where we negotiate wage talks in the sector. And this proposal is currently being circulated amongst Numsa members in all the regional offices as well as the local offices all over the country for the workers in the bus passenger sector to make a decision about whether they accept the proposal or not. If indeed they are happy with the conditions that are laid out there, then it means we'll be able to sign a new agreement which will cover us for the next year. Otherwise, if not, then it is still possible that strike action might still be on the cards at a later stage if we are still unable to find a suitable compromise.
Help me understand, Phakamile, just so there's no confusion from viewers as well. This strike action we're talking about now, this proposed strike action that's being negotiated at the moment, is that affecting this weekend, the Easter weekend's transportation services?
So if you recall, we were saying that we are on the verge of a strike over the long weekend.
Yes.
We can definitively confirm that there will be no strike over this long weekend. What we are saying is that for over this weekend, because we received this mediator's proposal, we're going to use that time to ensure that Numsa members or workers in the bus passenger sector on the whole, and this, by the way, extends to all of labour, all workers represented by labour unions in the bus passenger sector, are currently engaging with this proposal. Then we're expected to meet within the confines of the negotiating forum. That meeting is expected to happen either on Tuesday or Wednesday. And it will be at that forum where we'll communicate whether we're happy with the conditions that are there or if we still want to change it. And so hence I'm saying to you, definitely no strike over the long end. We are going to meet to confirm how we feel about this proposal. If those talks don't go well, then it means that the option to utilize strike action is one that we may use, but at a later stage.
Are all the unions, this collection of unions, involved in this? Are you all on the same page, or are we starting to head off in different directions?
No, this proposal is being proposed to all workers. So that includes even the unions, not just Numsa. It's Numsa, Tausa, as well as Satau. All of those unions are circulating this proposal to their members. And all unions, together with employers, the employer associations are represented by COBIA and SPIA. We are expected to then meet either on Tuesday or Wednesday, where we will, under the auspices of the Bus Passenger Council, then confirm whether we accept the proposal or not.
There was talk in the early part of this week, Phakamile, I'd like to get your comments on this, that whenever it comes to bus sector wage negotiations, the timing, you're not unaware of this, I'm sure you're not, the timing of this is always around Easter and December. Some are saying it's being leveraged by the drivers and unions to try and bully employers. What's your reaction?
I think it's unfair that people are using the word bully to describe workers. These are the same workers who've carried the industry even during COVID. Without getting any pay. Our members were the ones who carried the entire bus passenger sector without any compensation, I might add. Even though the employers, regardless of whether they have high numbers or not, they get guaranteed income from the state through generous subsidies. So the timing is not deliberate on our side. The wage agreement expires, and in fact it has already expired. It expired at the end of March, on the 35th of March. We, by now, should have come to an agreement with a new wage agreement which should have started on the 1st of April. And by the way, as unions, we've been aware of this from day one, which is why from last year, November, we'd already submitted our demands because we were trying to prevent precisely the situation where over the Easter weekend there would be a strike. But unfortunately, the employers have not taken the talk seriously. They're the ones who've been delaying unnecessarily to assist us in trying to find a resolution. And it was because of their stubbornness that we actually found ourselves right on the verge of the strike of the Easter weekend. I think it must also be said, and your viewers must know, that the fact that there's no strike is because workers were considering the public and the impact on the public, which is part of the reason why a decision was taken by workers themselves not to pursue strike action during this weekend. So even as I speak to you, workers are still considerate of how this might affect the public. The problem here is that we've got a group of selfish, greedy employers who don't even care about the public, because if they did, they would have ensured that we finalized this agreement way in advance before the Easter weekend.
Do you think this latest demand of yours has taken into consideration the latest inflation and interest rates? Some could suggest it's still lower than it should be, 7, 8, 9%. Some would still suggest is too low considering the cost of living at the moment. Why not go for more?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, just so your viewers know, what our members want is they want a one-year agreement. They want an 8% increase across the board, and that increase must include allowances. And they want this medical aid or medical insurance to be something that is finally on the table. These are the demands that members have made. The mediator's proposal touches on most of those issues. I can't go into the details of what it is, but it does touch on most of those issues. And workers would have to decide whether the conditions that are there are satisfactory to them. At the end of the day, the inflation rate affects workers and their families more than anybody else. The cost of food, the cost of transportation and fuel has a direct impact on our members and affects them in the most negative way. The majority of our members are workers who are earning 7,800 Rand on average. So certainly the inflation is something that affects them directly. As Numsa, we always try and negotiate increases that at least match inflation or are above inflation in order to ensure that workers and their families are able to be cushioned by the effects of the cost of living.
Phakamile, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Just bringing us up to speed. It's good news to hear that at least for this weekend, Easter weekend, the strike essentially is on hold while waiting for these negotiations to take place. I appreciate the time of Phakamile Hlubi-Majola, Numsa spokesperson, joining us this afternoon.